Hello, welcome to part 3 of the banana tutorial. This is David Ward. When last I left you, we had just gotten done adding the rig and adding the bone weights to said rig, to the banana. So when we animate, we can... You know, this is going to bug me. Well, I was going to move the axes, but that would rotate the whole bone, and I'd have to flatten it out the other direction, just be a pain. So I'm not going to mess with it. We'll just rotate on the z-axis. So anyways, we got the rig done, so let's add in, I'm going to expand this window, just go over here, these diagonal lines, click and drag, and we're going to open up the dope sheet, and then switch to action editor. So I'm going to make some actions for these banana peels. Say new, and this one's going to be peel 1. Okay, so grab excuse me, grab peel 1 and all the sections of it. I'm going to hit I, rot scale, location rotation scale, so it puts a keyframe there, and I'm just going to jump up one keyframe, or one frame, and I'm going to go ahead and animate these. Actually, go ahead and hit this button, that'll make things a little easier. That automatically sets keyframes whenever you move something. So I'm going to rotate on the z-axis, hit it twice so it's rotating along the normals rather than the global world views. So RZZ, just rotate that, and then grab this one, RZZ, and if you hold down shift, you get a little bit more control over how fast it rotates. So one thing you might be saying to yourself is like, hey Dave, that banana looks kind of sad there. So let's do this. Let's go to our modifiers and let's bump that armature up one, and boom, wow, that looks so much prettier, doesn't it? Okay, so let's animate this a little bit more, maybe curve that down a little bit. The reason I'm not using the let me do that on the z-axis rather. The reason I'm not just using the copy rotation is because, like on this one, for example, I want it to bend more than the base, and with the copy rotation, the most influence that you can have is 1. And as you can see, this has been a lot more than that one, so I'd want an influence of at least 1.5 to 2. But you can't do that with that particular constraint, so I'm using the action constraints, and that's not quite what I'm looking for there, so I'm going to rotate it a little bit better there. Let's just rotate it like so. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's peel 1. Go ahead and hit the F so it doesn't disappear once we close out and save. Go ahead and save this one. So we got closed, open, closed, open. Alright, so we're going to do that on every one of these peels. So let's go ahead and hit back to frame 1. Let's go ahead and just go to the back. This is going to be peel 3. So let's kill out that there. And we're going to say new. I'm going to call this one peel 3. Oops, 3. There we go. And grab all 3 of those. And I to insert a keyframe, rot scale, location rotation scale. Go ahead and just bump up 1. And we're going to go ahead and animate this as well. A little further back. Now, you might be asking yourself, again, you probably ask yourself a lot of questions when you're watching myself. Why is he doing that? Well, the reason I added that base bone there is because another thing I want to do with these is in the bone settings right here, I want to give it multiple segments, so it's bendy. That's why another reason I went with the B bones, because they can be bendy. So I'm going to hit this a little bit, and you can see it also makes the banana skin a little smoother. So let's make each section have 4 segments. So one more there, and one more there. And you can see, since this one's coming off of that base, it's more of a straight line. I guess you could probably mess with the ease in and out, which, speaking of, let's grab that last one, change the ease out to 0, so it can just kind of be on its own. But yeah, I like to give it a base just so it has, you know, something to rotate off of and come in starting off straight. So anyways, so there we go with that one. Frame 1, frame 2. Alright, so let's go, tell you what, let's go back to that first one, and let's go ahead and give those 4 sections as well. You can just type it in, or you can just, you know, hit it 3 times. So anyway, so now we got that one. Back to frame 1. Let's grab this one here on this side, and this is going to be peel 2. So go ahead and hit the F there so that one doesn't disappear. Exit out, new, peel 2. All right, and let's go ahead and give it 4 segments. All right, so select these 3, frame 1, I, lock rotate scale, jump up 1, and we'll go ahead and rotate it on the Z-axis. R, Z, Z, rotate Z locally. Okay, and let's go to our side view, and actually Control 3 will put us on the right side. It's not quite rotating, peeling the way I think would be prettier, so let's just get that fixed up. There we go. Okay, so frame 1, frame 2. 1, boop, boop. All right, last but not least, peel 4. So let's go ahead and set the F, new, peel 4. All right, segments 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. But on the stem, we're not going to give it multiple segments because it's pretty rigid. It's not going to be bendy like the rest of the skin. All right, so grab these 3 guys and 4th guy. Go to our side view, 3 on the numpad. I lock rotate scale. Jump up to 2, and just rotate that out like so, and then there. A little more. Okay, so frame 1, frame 2. The F. Okay, so now we have all of our peels coming down. So good to go. All right, so let's just exit out of our animation or action editor there. Let's collapse that window down a little bit. Go ahead and save this. I'm saving it as part 3. Okay, so we got our peels doing what we want them to. Now we have to add a controller for those peels. So I'm going to go grab that bone, tab into edit mode. I'm going to put our 3D cursor right over here. Shift A, just to add in a bone. And we'll call this one CTRL for control _ peel 1. All right. And I'm just going to hover over this, Control C. I guess the hovering over and copying only works in a text input field like that. But you know, it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to duplicate this one, move it over, boom, and it automatically renamed it or named it the same thing. So I'll just name that 2, and just grab both of those, Shift D, move those over. All right, so this one will be peel 3, and this one will be peel 4. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that peel 1, come over to our bone constraints, and I'm gonna add in an action constraint. And the target is going to be banana rig, think, and then the bone is going to be control peel 1. And the action is going to be peel 1. And the action range is frame 1, and the end is frame 2. So, and also set these both to, or set this to local space. So now when I grab this bone and I move it, you can see it affects that. Where'd it go? There. Okay. So then it's going to be local space. For some reason, that's should be a little more. Let me pause recording for just a. Sorry, I can't pause recording right now because I'm using a different software. I used to be able to pause, but target range max 1. There we go. Now it'll work. Boom. Now it's nice and slow. So I gotta do the target range as well. So we'll clear that out, and then you can see. You can move this bone and it'll affect the action. So you want that on all the segments there. So we'll just select these 2 guys and then select that one last and hit the space bar. I'm going to say copy constraints to selected bones. Boom. So now those all have this control. You can see just move that one to peel the banana. All right. So what I'm going to do is select all these other bones that we want to peel. There. And then shift select that bottom one again. Copy constraints. And now all I have to do is just go to each one of these peels and say I want this is going to be peel 3. Boom. Change this to peel 3. Bink. And I guess we didn't need to do all of those because now we can just select these and then that one and copy constraints. So now peel 3, peel 3. So pretty much just have to do the bottom one and then you can, this is peel 2. So control peel 2 and then action peel 2. And then select these top 2, shift select that bottom one last, copy constraints, and it'll automatically overwrite the other ones. So just change this bottom one here. This is going to be peel 4. Control peel 4. And then select these guys. And then copy constraints. So now each one of these pieces of the peel is going to be controlled by one of these control bones. Pretty cool stuff. So if you want to move them all at the same time, just select all of them and move them all. And boom, you get a peeled banana. Okay, so that's 11 minutes for this part 3. I'm going to go ahead and call that a day on part 3 here. Go ahead and clear that out. So when we come back in part 4, we're going to go ahead and add in the actual flesh of the banana inside the peel, and then we can probably start working on some materials. So that's going to be all for part 3. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in part 4.